We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting up to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
Hello and welcome back to Discover with RAA Travel. No matter where you decide to take a holiday, whether it be beachside or exotic locations, it's always important to remember these things. Research your destination, have all your necessary travel documents and plan your budget. This will ensure your trip runs smoothly and is enjoyable. The trips on our program today are taking you far and wide. Tegan visits Broome and the Kimberley. And I'm back in Europe in Regensburg. But first, Ron Candelars is boarding the train with Journey Beyond and heading east.
Our legendary Indian Pacific journey snakes its way along a ribbon of rail from west to east. A quick layover in Adelaide offers time to step from one icon into another.
From this state-of-the-art sporting arena to this amazing heritage scoreboard. It's what makes this experience so unique. And to think these passengers just yesterday were out on the Nullarbor.
It's a transcontinental, transcultural experience as we're brought up to date on how things have always been done at one of Australia's sporting meccas.
They're just bike chain. So it's just like it's just riding a bike.
Historical curios like Adelaide Oval's bicycle chain-powered scoreboard are part of the Indian Pacific experience, and so too the mesmerising motion of rolling stock through the South Australian mid-north.
For me, rail travel is the epitome of guilt-free indulgence. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. Work is a million miles away as you're mesmerised by this ever-changing cavalcade of vistas. Now, at some point, I'm going to have to make a decision. When do I go to the dining room car or perhaps the bar? As you can see, life's tough.
There are 3 refreshment cars and 3 kitchens. But before sampling the Indian Pacific's exceptional dining, it pays to sort out your digs with one of the many hospitality attendants.
To release the bottom bunk, just lean in and to the right clutch and just do a release. And grab the little handle here and pull down there.
Beautiful.
And then the top bunk here, so we just twist the handle at the top there. And that will just come down.
Soon we're settled in with our own ensuite on rails. Attendants like Brooke Zarazinski are a credit to the Journey Beyond teams who roll across the country with you on the many rail journeys they offer.
So, Brooke, how many attendants like you on this trip?
Yeah, so there's 43 of us.
43,
Yeah.
okay. And how many people on the train this time round?
204.
Wow, so you kept pretty busy.
Very much so, yes.
And you work in shifts?
Yeah, definitely. So have a sleep in the afternoon and work at night. It's really lovely, yeah.
With complimentary drinks throughout the trip from Perth to Sydney and a host of great travelling companions to get to know, you'll have a ball. But remember, a once-in-a-lifetime rail journey like this is probably not the time to contemplate a diet.
The food really is amazing. It's a credit to Shivam Sharma and his crack team. We're just north of Yunta on the way to Broken Hill, and dinner's about 2 hours away. I can't wait.
With Journey Beyond catering for every need, it pays to slow down, settle in, and enjoy the array of entertainment as this wide brown land passes you by. It was certainly a winner with all that the Discover with RAA team got to know.
I just like the relaxing atmosphere, meeting people, and just the aura of the train travel.
I just enjoy being with everybody as well, and you get to see different aspects of the country as well as you go by.
It's been fabulous, yeah. And the staff have been great. They've really looked after us.
The off-train experiences are really good, and the food's just fantastic.
It's about the train, it's about the transport, whereas everything else is about getting from A to B, whereas this is about the journey.
Amen to that.
Oh my gosh, get a load of this. I am in Western Australia, specifically the Kimberley. We're currently hiking to Emma Gorge, but there is so much to see and do. This is awesome.
Nature continually never ceases to amaze me. This was lemongrass.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I just need to carry this around with me. This, woo! It's Emma Gorge. This is like an oasis. We're at Zephyr Springs. Oh, and I'm excited for this one. So something that I've found from traveling around up here in the Kimberley is to take your time. This is amazing. And what I love is the contrast of these brilliant greens. And then you've got the red up there. Scotty, so we're on Lake Argyle. I feel like there's so much to talk about in the Kimberley. What makes it so special?
For me, isolation.
Yeah.
I love the East Coast, I love the South Coast, I love Australia. I call all of it home, I love the whole place, but for me, it is 500 kilometres to anyone that way, and it's 1,000 k's to anyone that way, and our closest shop is 800 k's.
Is it?
To really go to Bunnings or to do any of that stuff you need to do, you know, like, and our capital city is over 3,000 kilometres away, so
yeah.
It's just, it's a nice isolated pocket where we have most of the year we have it to ourselves, and for about 4 months we share it.
The flight to Broome was like nothing I had ever seen. We flew over this incredible waterway, which looks like something out of a movie. Now, no rest for the wicked. It was time to see Broome. First up, we're seeing it from the ocean on a sunset cruise. This was so incredible. We saw dolphins, and they had this super fun net off the back of the boat that you could hold onto and cool off and go for a little swim. We've seen Broome from the water, now it's time to see it from the sky with a helicopter flight. It was honestly so magnificent to see all of the contrasting colours that Broome has to offer.
Oh my gosh. This is so beautiful. This is Ganthium Point here in Broome. It is a super iconic spot. You gotta come and visit.
Broome has so much to see and do. Visit the Horizontal Falls, which is a natural wonder of the world. And finish off your time in Broome riding camels at sunset on Cable Beach. Iconic. Book your next adventure to WA, the Dream State, through the RAA website. Today I am in Regensburg, Bavaria, one of the best preserved medieval cities in Germany. Here you will find 13th century architecture like St. Peter's Cathedral here, and the city also has a modern side. They say Regensburg has more bars than any other city in Germany, and being in Germany, that's quite a feat, with apparently over 500. The people here also know how to have fun, so we're getting amongst it. Regensburg is one of the last stops on my Travel Marvel European Gems River Cruise. My guide Irene went to uni here and confirms its party reputation is true.
The number sounds correct to me, so I'm pretty sure it must be in the hundreds. And you don't have to choose just one, you know. You can do bar hopping here. Pub crawling in Regensburg is a thing because it's not so big, so you can, just a few steps from one bar to the next. You've got lots of choices.
It's not surprising considering that 150,000 people live here and 30,000 of them are students. But it's been a playground since medieval merrymakers walked its streets.
Regensburg had its glory days from the year 1200 to 1400, I'd say. And Regensburg was a trading town, and they traded in luxury goods like silk, spices, pepper, really expensive and exotic stuff that came from the other end of the world. And luckily, they spent a lot of their money on their buildings, and lots of those have survived here in Regensburg.
This is the town's renowned stone bridge, which they started to build in 1135, and coming from Australia, that is really hard to comprehend. Regensburg is one of Germany's largest and best preserved medieval cities. Thankfully, because it survived World War II without any major damage, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site with 1,500 listed buildings. One of the most popular places to visit is the Sausage Kitchen. Can you believe it has been open since 1146? That makes it the longest running public restaurant in the world. That is insane. More than 870 years ago, it fed workers building the cathedral and the bridge. And today, it's feeding our soundy Tom, who tucked into more than one of its famous sausage rolls.
It's difficult not to imagine, what different times must have been like in Regensburg, because you turn the corner and there's a different century before you, there's a different historical building, and so many important historical people have been to Regensburg. Kings, queens, emperors, dukes and lords. Parliament used to be held here.
Today, charming boutique shops continue the upmarket vibe.
The shops are truly amazing, and that's because the city of Regensburg in the 1980s already decided to emphasize these little shops. So they granted them tax reductions up until this day, and so that's how many of these tiny, very special shops like shoemakers, hat makers and stuff, they have survived in Regensburg along with the big chain stores you also have, of course.
And so my first ever river cruise has come to an end. Thanks to Travel Marvel, I've explored magical cities and towns, indulged in incredible cuisine, joined in the fun on board with new friends, and stolen away to relish the serenity and just exhale. I hope I've inspired you to discover the art of river cruising too. Thank you.
Enjoy, madam.
I will, thanks. This is what it's all about. When it comes to packing for national or international train travel, there are a few key considerations to keep in mind. First up is luggage size. Now, generally trains have limited storage, so it's best to opt for a smaller, more manageable size. Choose a suitcase or a bag that is roughly 56 centimetres in length. This size should allow you to easily store your luggage in overhead compartments or under your seat. Opt for clothing that allows freedom of movement and layers for temperature fluctuations. Remember to pack a variety of different entertainment options, including books, electronic devices or magazines, to keep yourself engaged during the journey. And if you're anything like me, you've got to pack the water bottle and plenty of snacks to keep the hungry thirsty at bay. Remember to bring chargers for your electronic devices and keep travel documents easily accessible. With these essentials packed, you'll be prepared for a comfortable and enjoyable journey.
Everything about this trip is epic. Epic in distance. 4,352 kilometres from Perth to Sydney, from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, hence the name, the Indian Pacific. And when the line was first joined way back in 1917, it was considered one of the great nation-building projects of all time. It brought people together and it engendered a sense of an Australian identity. Now we're heading further east towards another state border, while also crossing over into a slower state of mind.
You disconnect and...
That point about, as you say, disconnect, it's about turning off the brain to some extent, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it is. And it's getting back to the things that gave you pleasure a long time ago.
There's a great sense of bonhomie in the Outback Explorer Lounge as these intrepid travellers give themselves over to the clickety-clack of rail, a locomotive lullaby with hypnotic appeal. But out here, travelling through the Mallee Scrub, expect the unexpected, as we're entertained by a dame who scrubs up pretty well.
Right, now just pop your hand up if you haven't played bingo before. Now anyone with your hand up, you will need to get off the train.
As we close in on Broken Hill, Miss Buffet channels her inner Priscilla, gliding through a landscape that's not desert, but certainly arid pastoral country. As travelling quizmaster, she adds a little literary flair.
I was born in 1775.
Yep, correct demographic. Not demographic.
I am known for my irony. I have 6 major novels. I am an English novelist.
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen is correct.
From Trivial Pursuit to Outback Bingo, the Indian Pacific offers an entertaining smorgasbord. But it's here in the kitchen car that chefs conjure some classic culinary fare.
You must hear a lot of great feedback because people rave about the food.
Yeah, the quality of the food is really up to standards. It's really high. The food we get is of good quality. And yeah, and then pretty much like restaurant style, it's basically like restaurant on the train.
It's a great way to see out the day, with more sensational tucker to sample come morning. Another day and another state. Last night we crossed over into New South Wales. On the full Indian Pacific experience, we'll pass through 3 distinct time zones, and yet notions of deadlines and time become less and less important. But as our journey draws to an end, a final scenic delight in the Blue Mountains gets the heart pumping.
There's the Scenic Railway, the steepest train in the world. There's the Scenic Skyway, which goes across the Jamison Valley and back. And then we have the Cable Way, which meets the Rainforest Boardwalk and takes you back out of the Jamison Valley again.
Memorable tours as part of a memorable transcontinental crossing.
I've just got to grab one final peek of one of the many vistas available to passengers on the spectacular Indian Pacific Railway journey. You've got to do it.
Don't forget, having a holiday offers you a blissful escape from stress. It allows you to unwind, recharge and relax.